Tell us the theme and history of the program A Dream That Will End One Day. Hanyu. The program A Dream That Will End One Day shows a world in which the one who pursued his dream could not fulfill it, and it ended. A world in which he understands that something that he valued most in life, the innermost that became self-evident, will one day disappear, and in the pursuit of a dream that continues until now, he collected a pure white heart as best he could, but he threw it away and lost all emotions. No one's words can reach him, and even if they do, they are not needed. He is happy and alone, moreover, he wants to be left alone. He's tired and can't do anything else. But there is a light that illuminates him, a light that pushes him. And even though he looks away from this light, emotions overwhelm him. He is afraid that he will not be able to respond to the light for support. He does not want to betray him, but he is happy that he gives him warmth and knows that nothing will give him so much strength. In the end, he accepts it and gives it to ice. That's the story. It is not always the same, as the story gradually changed, and under the influence of mapping, too, I rolled it, thinking about different things. What were you thinking while rolling her? Hanyu. I gave up my cherished dream because I couldn't fulfill it in the place of my dreams, and no matter how hard I tried, it was all in vain. To some extent, I wondered if this meant that my dream of the times when I started skating would ever end. That no matter how hard I try, there are things that cannot be achieved. I realized that no matter how seriously you take the case, no matter how hard you try, no matter how you put your life on the line, there are dreams that you cannot fulfill. But, for me, it is a real happiness that so many people came to watch the prologue, submitted applications, watched it in cinemas and on TV. Every time I start this program, I start with my despair, but absolutely always, in the end, I feel happy. I've skated for everyone and I intend to keep doing it. That's how I always ended it. There is a moment in mapping where words come pouring from you. Did you select them yourself? Hanyu? These are the words that were in the story that I told Makiko-sensei, and she used them. She was engaged in their selection and arrangement. This is one of my favorite moments, so much so that when I first saw him, I really almost burst into tears. This scene expresses how, after I have turned away from the light many times, the words begin to pour out of me by themselves. Looking at these words, it seems that many are associated with water. Hanyu. From the very beginning, I imagined that I wanted to depict this world with ice in the form of water or the surface of water. The song A Dream That Will End One Day is taken from the game Final Fantasy X, and it's an incredibly magical world with a very beautiful drawing of water and light of the soul, so I imagined that this could only be done with mapping, that the rink is water, and I write on it. Now, after the presentation of the first program that you set yourself, Dreams That Will End One Day, what does it mean to you? Hanyu. I was worried that this program is built entirely on the expressiveness of sliding and body, without jumps and rotations. But, it seems to me, thanks to mapping, it has grown into an excellent program. Without him, these emotions, movements, facial expressions and gliding would not have appeared, so he really made a big impact. And I think it was a good idea to combine the program with the video. Dreamy aspiration was shown in front of her, and her connection with Dream is really strong. I created the program Dreamy Aspiration with the idea that having discarded children's snowball games and entertainment with friends, I opened the door with a willingness to rush to my dream and moved forward without looking back. Even when the dream crumbled into pieces and fell, I picked it up properly. The finale tells about a boy who grew up after such a childhood, who with a pure white heart, picks up the snow he threw away a long time ago and entrusts it to his future self as a particle of hope filled with determination and thoughts of that time. That's the story. A dream that will end one day is a moment where the soul is so lost that it throws away a pure white heart and in the end accepts it, along with everyone's hope and a piece of hope thrown into dreamy aspiration. They have a lot of different ideas, so these are programs that you want to revise. Haruyo, Koi with mapping has also become a new program. Hanyu. The theme of Haruyo, Koi was gratitude, bright shining future, mercy. It already has a story in it, but I wanted this child to be even freer, so I didn't explain too much. With Makiko-sensei, we had a conversation about the fact that I have rolled Haruyo Koi many times, which is why I want to cherish the idea of her that everyone has, and there is no desire to oversaturate her with mapping. As a result, she has acquired such a form. I want everyone to feel the change of seasons, cold, warmth and the rest with their hearts. The end is a sign of the beginning. On all the shows, you performed a rotation in the Billman position. Share your feelings, thoughts about his recovery. Hanyu. Many of my past programs had this rotation, so I trained hard with the desire to roll them back in the best possible way. At the very beginning of training, it was not possible to twist it at all, but as I worked out, I got to the feeling that it was getting better than before. This is a very important rotation for both the 9-year-old me and the current one. It was said that for the shows in Yokohama and Hachina, it was necessary to change the direction, where the face is mainly directed, in the programs, due to the specifics of the event. Besides, in Hachina, you changed not only that, but also the choreography. How do you manage to pay attention to even such minor details? Hanyu. It's not about attention anymore, but about the audience seeing a good show. At competitions there is no need to think about this. At the show I want the performance to look good from any angle. At competitions, the performance mostly goes in the direction of the judges, but thoughts pop up on the show that if you direct the skating on a short board, it may turn out more expressive. I'll try to shift the balance. You can even show something with your back. This happens not only in moments of reflection, but also during endurance training. Suddenly there are representations of how the audience sees the whole picture or my image. In a sense, I ride with the judges in all directions and of all angles, hoping that my thoughts and skating will cover the entire space. The choreography was changed because I wanted it. In other words, I changed it with the feeling of correctly using some kind of my idea. This should look better. I want it to look like this and my movements in accordance with the music and the program. I am happy when such little things are noticed. Romeo-Juliet in this regard, from an objective point of view, perfectly laid down in accordance with the presentation and movements. There are various things that I changed and combed because I thought it's better to do this, so some movements increase or decrease depending on my emotions on a particular day. In change I also tried to change the feeling of distance with the audience and what joy the program brings. It would be great if everyone compared the records again. The concept and theme of the prologue was to look back at your life up to the current moment. Now at the end of the show, how do you feel about it? Hanyu. To be honest, it seems to me that if someone else had made a show with such a content as prologue, it would not have been so filled. The videos shown are overflowing with littered jumps and other things, as well as quite painful things. Warm-up shots for Romeo and Juliet with thoughts about Sachi. Then the 6-minute warm-up of the Pyeongchang Olympics begins. The content of the same rental, focused on excellent quality and high complexity. Then I roll back change completely. If it weren't for the videos I made myself, I think that the video for Requiem of Heaven and Earth about the earthquake wouldn't be so realistic, and there probably wouldn't be a Romeo-Juliet presenting these feelings. Also a dream that will end one day in Haruyo Koi. And also Dreamy Aspiration and Sasankwa in them. And I'm the Strongest, the song in the show's finale. The advance of the clock from 11:11 to 11:12 time moves forward from the prologue to a new story. My life was not filled only with happy moments, there were all mistakes, failures. Probably, even now, after the end of the Olympics in Beijing, many have the impression that Hanyu Yuzuru is an ideal person. There is no despair for him. He always looks ahead, his training is always on the plus side, he always consistently goes to success. There have been many mistakes in my life that have led to success, and many mistakes that have only led to failure. I've made decisions that I'm sure were wrong. There were things that didn't depend on me, and I wish they had never happened. Sometimes it seemed to me that fate was so arranged, and I could not influence anything. But still, for me, what people are waiting for is that it reaches so many, and even if there are no visible changes, even if it only remains in their hearts for a moment, or they remember it, or just an image appears in their head, or memories and thoughts come to them, such moments are real happiness for me. I came to the conclusion that I am not alone, that I can ride like this, thanks to the thoughts and feelings of so many people. Isn't this happiness? Looking back at what happened again, I understand that the show turned out great. I would like to do something like this again someday, but will it be possible to create something better? Laughs, I realized that this is how full my life is, the life of Hanyu Yuzuru. Your tears on the last day of the show, what are they about? Hanyu. When I realized that everything was coming to an end, after all, there was something that filled me with tears. I knew that the prologue leads to the gift show, and, thinking this is where it all starts, I asked myself, almost crying, what, am I crying? And laughed. The end is a sign of the beginning. Thinking that I shouldn't cry, and expressing my determination I will continue, at that moment the screen showed the hand that I held behind my back and squeezed with all my strength, and I immediately laughed. There was no deep meaning in this sign, laughs. But thanks to this, I was able to relax and properly convey my thoughts. At the end of the prologue, now, what kind of response do you feel? And what value or significance do you think it will have for you in the future? Hanyu. First of all, I am very glad that everyone accepted my solo ice show, and also that I was able to answer the expectations until the very end. I was able to gain confidence that I can continue to work hard on this path. Thank you very much to everyone for the warm applause and words. I have a lot to think about in my life, but I don't regret anything. I have a past for which I feel guilty, but despite this, it is thanks to him and my current life. Thanks to this feeling, now I can choose happiness. Looking back at the past, at your life, there are many things that make you want to cry. Both in a good and in a bad way. But now there is nothing in my life that I would not finish to the end. And in the prologue too, there is nothing that I would not finish. Every day I gave everything I had on this ice. All my current feelings are perfectly expressed by the song Adu. I am the strongest of all, played in the finale of the show, so if you listen to the words, the song, the way Adu sings, and put my feelings thoughts on it, I will be glad. My dream is your wish. Your dream is my happiness. My dream that I once had is still in my heart. I'm the strongest. With you the strongest. From now on, I want to keep moving forward, getting stronger and stronger, and keep rolling programs that will be at least a little close to your hearts and easy for your consciousness, like a recipe made to order. Even if they just lead you to the thought how professional, excellent, I will be happy. I will continue to ride, always putting all my strength and giving my all.